Let me practice.
Can't dance to that, can you, KG?
You saw my foot?
Yes. I have a two-part story to tell. Part one, a ship on its way to Antarctica to study disappearing ice due to global warming got trapped in the ice. Part two, ha, 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 ha. According to the Huffington Post, the ship needed 3 icebreakers to rescue it, and all failed. So it sat there like Al Gore wedged in a manhole. Thankfully, all were rescued, but the HuffPo, like others, neglected to say that the scientists were there to study global warming. Instead, you got this stuff.
Before their ship got stuck in the ice in the middle of a blizzard, the explorers were on a tour of historic sites in Antarctica. Now it's simply a rescue mission.
As the Australian maritime experts ponder what next, the crew of the ship say they have enough food and provisions. So scientists keep busy with research, and passengers keep the world up to date.
So why no mention of the mission? Because it doesn't fit their story. But no worries, the stuck ship still proves global warming. Expedition leader Chris Turney says they were trapped in old ice from an iceberg that broke off ages ago. So while less ice proves global warming, more ice does too. What a great business. Look, some say Antarctic ice is disappearing, but others say it's grown to a new record 2 years in a row with satellite data from 92 to 2008 showing a net gain. So who's right? I'm no scientist, although I tell people that in bars, but I know not to trust those who make money off panic, be it environmental or otherwise. The same people who scream global cooling now scream warming and shout heathen when you point to new cooling data. The missing polar bears are now back, so let's bring up vanishing ice, which is no longer vanishing. So unlike that vessel stuck in the ice, I'm thinking this climate change ship has sailed. And you can't blame it on the weather, but on a strident ideology that's put real science on ice for decades to come. So, KG, I watched you absorb that monologue.
I thought it was riveting.
Either that or you were asleep.
I'm bone cold.
Everybody falls asleep when we talk about global warming. Are you surprised that the media ignores that story, that part of the...
No, but how biased is it? It's so obvious. This is the whole point of the expedition was they were going to go to Antarctica and they were going to study global warming, what a disaster it is, and instead they got trapped, and then they got another rescue about the Chinese trapped. You might like that, Bob. And so this is the point of the story.
Yeah.
You're going there to study something, yet you're frozen, trapped in ice. What does that tell you? It also tells me that this was a 35-year record high in 2013 for Antarctic sea ice, just so you know.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing, Bob, that we all have to read up about Antarctic sea ice?
Who would have thought?
I read about it every day. Now, listen, I know this is a funny story, and you guys who are...
I'm glad they're
I won't
safe.
use,
I want to say I'm glad they're safe,
I won't
Bob.
use the word. I won't use the word that gets you so upset in describing
Flat
people
earthers.
like you who are out of non-scientific. But
it is science.
Well, wait a minute. You're looking at one day or 1 week in the course of millions of years, right? And there is no doubt the overwhelming number of scientists believe that the globe is getting warmer. I mean, it's as simple as that. Now, okay, excuse me.
Do you realize
Einstein, you tell me.
You just refuted your own argument in the same sentence.
Yeah,
because you said, well, you're looking at one day, but then you don't realize over the last couple of years, we're looking at a lot of scientists who believe it is warming, even though the Earth's been around for literally millions upon millions of years.
This is 1 week in a million years.
So instead, you want to take the last, I don't know, 15 years or so instead?
No, I don't want to take the last 15 years.
How about the last 10,000 years?
Okay, let me just ask you this. Why is it that most... And I put the emphasis on most scientists believe that there is global warming. You don't.
Because here's why, Bob. Because if most scientists said, no, you know what? It's normal fluctuations in temperature. And then there's no story there. There's no reason for them to get billions upon billions of dollars to fund their research projects.
So you think this is all a scam?
Absolutely. All these little expeditions they're those beautiful ships that are well stocked and they're not worried, and their vacations up in the Antarctic. That's all this is. This is funding their lifestyles and their laboratory experiments.
The problem with doing this story is we always get back to Bob talking about this incredible agreement among scientists. That was based on a grad study in which they gave a questionnaire to people, and the question was so generic. It was, do you believe that there's fluctuation? It wasn't a scientific study. It was a poll. And there are so many... By the way, I call myself a lukewarmer. I think there might be a slight increase, which is actually beneficial to society, saves lives. I don't know how it will be in the long term. I think it's valuable to look at. But I don't think, Dana, people should be calling each other names over this. I think it's important to have this discussion.
I don't know why they would hide or just if the media has willful negligence when it comes to reporting what the research was. So can we do a little role playing?
Sure.
You're an editor. I'm a
right.
journalist. I bring you a story. It says, "Hi, I've got this story, Mr. Editor, and it's about these researchers who are in Antarctica and they're stuck." And you say, "Okay," you read the lead, like, "Okay, well, what were they researching? What were they studying?" And I say, "Oh." Right. So in journalism school, you're taught that, like, you have to put the helpful detail
Right.
into the lead of the paragraph because that otherwise doesn't make sense. And nobody was even wondering what they were doing down there.
Yeah.
They probably just assumed they were doing global warming.
That wasn't fun role playing. Next time
Yeah,
I'm going
that
to be a
was sort
pizza
of-
delivery man.
That was sort of one-sided role play.
Yeah.
What happens?
I don't know. I deliver pizza.
That's gross.
I deliver pizza in the snow. All right.
That happened
I
today.
don't get it.
No, I
in
don't
my
get
house.
it either. Anyway, I'm just happy they were saved by helicopters. Were the
I'm glad they all
helicopters
did it
And
together
that's,
for
and
the
that's
planet.
adding to global
global warming?
those helicopters.
You're right. The helicopters were
Oh,
run.
no, but didn't you hear the answer? Their answer to that is that they're going to be planting trees elsewhere so that they can offset their carbon footprint from the rescue of the helicopter.
You don't believe in carbon footprints?
What a joke.
Your carbon,
What a
a
joke.
carbon
No,
footprint
they
is a
plant the
fact.
tree
You can
because of the
actually measure a
helicopter.
carbon
Like,
footprint.
so-
And it's used to make money.
You know what? They're hurting science because they're just so busy chasing what's PC. Oh, now we're going to plant the tree because we used a rescue helicopter. I don't buy any of it. I
Carbon
just-
offsets are a
So
great
you buy
industry.
into the conspiracy too? This is all conspiracy.
If I
No,
say yes, can we go to commercial break?
Yes.